Good morning, everyone, and how are you doing today? I am very fine. I just hope you are fine too. For as long as you are alive today, that's all that matters. And welcome to today's lesson. Our lesson for today is going to be on a letter to the editor. I know this is a challenging topic for most of the learners, but we are going to clarify it today. I am going to give you a full example on how to write this kind of letter, so make sure that you watch until the end. Before I go on with the letter to the editor, I just want to remind you to analyze questions, to interpret questions appropriately. I am saying this because learners are misinterpreting topics. If you misinterpret the topic, know that you are going to get a 0 because you are likely to be totally out of topic. I remember in the previous lesson there was a topic on littering is a problem in your area, and you were asked to write about litter. Most of you misinterpreted the question. You took litter as a person, litter, identifying the place. You took it as a person's name. Some of you wrote that Lita is a beautiful girl, but at their village everyone is scared of her because she's a witch. Lita studies very hard. Lita is... Guys, please upgrade your vocabulary. It hurts me so much to see you misinterpreting the question. Because the moment I see that the question is misinterpreted, then I can see my heart beating already. I'm going to give a 0. I am not here to award zeros. I do not enjoy giving zeros. I do not enjoy awarding zeros. So please try to interpret questions correctly. The other question was on honesty is the best policy. Most of you took honesty as a person. Honest. Honest is a man from Zimbabwe. Honest works at a garage. Honest is a neighbor. Learners, please upgrade your vocabulary and try to understand what the question is saying. If the question is at the essay part where you are allowed to choose one only, then choose the topic that you understand better. You cannot come here and tell me that honest is a policeman, is a police officer. I don't like that. It's funny though. In our previous lesson, there was also a topic on your favorite dish. You guys are misinterpreting the topics. What is a favorite dish? A favorite dish is your favorite food. You should always figure out, find something that will make you understand the question. You were asked to talk about your favorite dish, and I remember one of the prompts were how you prepare your favorite dish, how you cook it. A favorite dish is this food, your favorite food. Then you guys are telling me, when it's windy, my father likes putting me up so that we turn the dish, DSTV dish now. We turn to the left, then we turn it to the right so that the frequency comes. Then the others are telling me about, I like the plastic dish because that is where I serve my food. A plastic dish doesn't break easily. It's not like the glass dish. And this will cost you. Please try to improve your vocabulary. Read as much as you can and always write down a new word that you are coming across with. The worst misinterpretation was on the topic that we dealt with last week. You went to a game park, talk about the encounter that you had with the animals and stuff. Sorry, I cannot really recall that topic well. And you guys are writing, the encounter came. It was so strong. The encounter wanted to chase us. So the encounter, you misinterpreted the encounter. Now please go to your dictionary and search and find out the meaning of an encounter. You guys, I love you. Today, I'm going to help you with a letter to the editor. But first of all, I want us to look at what an editor is. We are writing a letter to the editor, but I want us to look at what an editor is. An editor is a person in charge of, or the person that determines the final content of the newspaper. For instance, the New Era newspaper, the Herald, the Namibian newspaper, the New Times, they have their own person who is in charge of reading everything that you send to them and take out or add a little bit just to make sure that the content which is going to be read by the public is not disturbing. So that is the person we call an editor. So when you see a letter to the editor, know that this letter is going to the person. So now in this lesson, we are going to look at a full example of a letter to the editor. An example crafted specifically for you so that you understand how to write this kind of letter. Our question is, there is a devastating noise pollution in your neighborhood and you are not happy with this unbearable noise. Now, you have to write a letter to the editor of your local newspaper. You should include what is producing the noise and how you feel about it, the disadvantages of noise pollution, and suggest what the authority should do to reduce this noise. It's a letter to the editor, remember? And it's about your neighborhood, noise in your neighborhood. I know the word neighborhood is a challenge to you. I remember there was an essay that was asking you to describe your neighborhood. Some of you took your neighborhood as a person. A neighborhood is not a person, it is a location where you stay. So please always analyze the question and try to understand it before you tackle it. Let's start with the format. A letter to the editor is a formal letter, just like any other formal letter. So you start with your address in the right-hand corner of your answer sheet. Your name, your address. If you are Nelly Dian, then I should see Nelly Dian, P.O. Box, and your town. Nowadays, we are developing. People have email addresses. You can put your email address there as well. Do not forget to include the date. When you are done with your own address, you move on to the left-hand side where you put the address of the receiver. This time you are writing to the editor, then you put the name of the newspaper where you are writing to. After that, your salutation, which is going to be Dear Sir or Madam. You then move on to your introduction. In your introduction, you can never greet. A formal letter doesn't need greetings. How is your wife? It has been long since I saw you. How are you doing there and your family? You do not know that person in person. So you are going straight to the point. Here you choose whether you want to have an introduction whereby you are telling just in brief what you are going to write about, or you can simply go and tackle prompt one. It really depends with the question. If prompt one suits to be an introduction, then you just go straight to prompt one. So you understand the question first, then you choose whether you'll have an introduction where you just talk about what you are going to complain or to appreciate about in that letter, just in short. Otherwise, you go straight to prompt one. After your introduction, you go straight to the body. That's where now you answer the prompts if you are given. If you are not given, you bring out your main ideas. Your main ideas. Then do not forget to put your closing words if you want. Otherwise, your third prompt can be the conclusion. You have a mind. You should see if this last prompt or the last idea can sound like a conclusion. If it doesn't, then you can have your closing words. Then you have your final words, which are the ending salutation, whereby you have yours faithfully, your signature and name, or yours sincerely, your signature and name. The difference is only if you get into the examination and your answer sheet is already having dear. If your answer sheet starts with dear, then there is no need for you to put the addresses down here. Please do not look stupid. The examiner is trying to save your time. So you start by dear. You just add sir or madam. Then you answer the prompts or you give your main ideas or whatever you needs to be done within the letter. Then you are done. You cannot put the addresses below dear. Even your common sense should tell you that. Okay, now let us write our letter together. This letter is written by Abiatal Martin. He's in Oshivarongo, and the date is there. That was his address. Then he moved on to the editor's address, as you can see it there. And the name of the newspaper he's writing to is a New Era newspaper. After that, I can see his salutation, which is Dear Sir. This means that Martin knows that the editor that he's writing to is a man, is a he. That is why he just said Dear Sir. He did not add Madam. If you do not know whom you are writing to, you have to say Dear Sir or Madam. And then I can see he decided to give a title on what he's going to talk about. Noise in our location. It will be up to you if you want to give a subject or not. But it's more clear when you brief somebody on what your letter is going to be about. We are moving on to the first prompt, which is the source of the noise and how it makes you feel. And Martin is saying, in prompt 1 is saying, the inconsiderate use of loudspeakers has become quite a disturbance in our town. It is so annoying that subwoofers have now become the top priority of almost every celebration. People in my community seem to believe that even private occasions such as marriages and birthday parties would be incomplete without the blast of jukeboxes. He is unhappy. He is annoyed. That is the feeling, and the source is the loudspeakers, the subwoofers used at occasions. The prompt is answered. Good. Prompt 2, disadvantages. Noise pollution is one of the challenges that we deal with every day, and this has resulted into many health problems such as stress and sleep disturbance. The loudspeakers are set in heavy thunder to the extent that one may not even hear a child crying inside their own home. This is so stressing, as sometimes we have to go to work without proper sleep. So unfair. The worst is children cannot even concentrate on their study. This is so unfortunate. I can feel the noise and I understand why this gentleman is complaining. So prompt 2 is answered. Another big tick. And P2 if it's me marking you, because I love this. Prompt 3, what the authority should do. Martin is saying, it is high time the authority regulates the use of loudspeaker. At least celebrations must be limited to a certain hour to allow others to sleep. People are not sleeping. It will be a great idea also for the relevant authority to set a limit to the volume played in the neighborhood. Those who break the law should spend some time in prison. This guy is a bit harsh, but honestly, it disturbs when you play your music in full blast and others are supposed to be sleeping. So I understand him. This is what he suggests the government should do. What would you suggest you as an individual? He did not end there. He added some closing words and he's saying, I'll be glad if drastic measures considering this issue will be or are put into consideration. These are just closing words to show that you are closing off. But for this kind of writing, the suggestion, they could still be a good conclusion, just like how prompt 1 was good for an introduction. Now, he is going to his ending words, his final salutation, which is, yours sincerely, Martin Abiatal. You see there's a signature there and then his name. He used yours sincerely because he said dear sir in the beginning, meaning that he knew whom he was writing to. If you had said dear sir or madam, then you were going to end with yours faithfully. Now you know how to write a letter to the editor. Make sure that you prepare for the exam in time. Please do not disappoint me. And please subscribe to this channel so that you always learn. You can always suggest a topic that is challenging you so that we try it out here. And write as beautiful as you can. You can write more than these activities here. These are just to direct you. Have a good day. I love you guys. Bye-bye. Take care.